Hello and welcome back to your one and only source. We're your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
And my name is Caroline. And today we are recapping season 1, episode 14 of Gossip Girl called
Blair Bitch Project. It's kind of crazy that they could put bitch in the title name.
You know what? It's so Pretty Little Liars coded.
It is. They did, I guess. So I guess it's not that crazy. Because they can say it in the show.
If you guys listened to our episode from Tuesday, we did a little Secret Lives of Mormon Wives recap. And God, if only we had had the headline, just quick emergency reporting here. We do talk about we do fully talk about Wes and Amanda on the Patreon. So we did like a starting episode. It's like 30 minutes. It's a mini-sode. We're just talking about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And then the rest of the episode, there's like another hour, is on the Patreon and video and ad-free. And we talk about Taylor, Frankie, Paul. We talk about The Bachelorette. We talk about West and Amanda.
And this was before it was
reality
confirmed.
TV, but it was before, yes. And it was.
I wish we had.
Like, I could feel it in my bones.
Imagine if we had been recording and the statement dropped.
Holy shit! I mean, guys, the Situation Room group chat was a true Situation Room yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was active.
No, really. We were all. It was like we were all collecting evidence to bring into the situation and like sorting through it together.
Yes.
We were constantly checking follower accounts, who was following whose accounts were going up, whose were going down.
Lawyer interns on how to get away with murder literally have nothing on us. They have nothing on the Situation Room group chat
here's
between
all
me,
I'll
Phoebe,
say.
and Amber.
Look, I know this isn't Paige's world anymore. Like she doesn't like to talk about Summer House, but these are your friends.
They're all your friends. I haven't even been off the show for a year.
I need you to say something or do something.
Her
more than the
comment on Hannah's video
that just doesn't
enough.
cut it for me.
Well, I did listen to Giggly Squad yesterday, and they released it late. Or maybe it was today that it came out. But I think
it was yesterday because I remember I saw it and I was like, oh my God, should I listen? Did they talk about it?
Yeah.
Because it was like 26 minutes ago they put it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
they don't directly talk about it, but I do think there's subtext throughout the episode, so I do think it's worth a listen. And you'll have to let me know if you pick up on the same notes that I picked up on, where like, I do think that I cannot imagine a world where Paige does not take, sorry, I'm dog sitting and there's construction, so if you hear shit, that's why. I can't imagine a world where Paige does not take Sierra's side.
Mm-mm.
Like,
that would be like,
not only would it be so wrong and shocking, it would be really stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Did you see that Ben unfollowed Amanda?
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like the cast feels like they also were betrayed in the same way a lot of us feel as the fans.
Phoebe and I, on the episode, we talked about how like we kind of don't think that this was happening last summer. We don't really think that it was happening while Amanda and Kyle were actively married. But then I saw this blind item that came out. I mean, that would take this to a Scandival level for me.
For sure.
Because right now, we can call it Scamanda. I don't see it at the same level as I saw
a TikTok, though, that explained, I think, why people have a hard time discerning which one is worse. I think someone said...
I don't.
No, but I mean, the reason it feels... There's something about it that does feel at that level of Scandival. And I think it's because with Vanderpump, it was shocking, but that's a show that is about cheaters and is about liars and is about bad friends. This show, at least we believe that it's a group of friends that for the most part, they get in fights, they get in drama and everything, but they respect each other for the most part.
And the friendships have seemed very strong.
Genuine this year.
I mean, the number of times that, like, and I also I think part of it too is so if we're comparing, like, Scandival lacked a someone to really empathize with. Yeah, like I'm of course like now obsessed, love Ariana so much. On Vanderpump, I wasn't like, I liked her. I thought she was cool.
Especially at that
did
time,
like her
she
and
kind
Tom.
of came back around. But you also have to remember where she started. She just didn't have the likability that a Sierra has.
And Sierra has really, like, She's expressed how difficult it is for her to be vulnerable and to trust people, which is why this is just so much more of a betrayal. But she has really allowed us to see her vulnerable. She has had difficult conversations about relationships, about sex, about race, about friendships. She has shown her loyalty time and time again to her friends. She has shown us, we've witnessed firsthand how hurt she was by West. We watched this all happen, and then we allowed ourselves to start rooting for them again. We were watching her in this transformation. Her friendship with Amanda seems so good. And Amanda has been married, so she's never been the person that we would have expected. You know what I mean? And I think, too, Sierra has really pulled at my heartstrings this season, especially with like Amanda talking to her about Kyle and Sierra feeling and empathizing for Amanda so much that she begins to cry as she's holding her. It's like, where was that? And so now I'm looking back at things and I'm just like, if this was happening,
I mean,
when I don't even really give a fuck about her being married to Kyle, except for the fact that in my mind that makes it impossible. But if it was happening during that time, and if it was happening all summer while
like
West is acting like this towards Sierra, then I'm kind of horrified. I mean, it takes it to a Scandival level. It does.
Because part of what made Scandival so terrible wasn't just that they were together for 10 years, but it was that Raquel was so inserted into both of their lives and was confiding in, or was getting Ariana to confide in her.
I mean, they were like the three best friends. We've likened it to me, Anthony, and Kelly. It really is.
If Kelly were to ever
Kelly
do
and
that.
Anthony, if I found out tomorrow that she and Anthony had been having an affair, the shock, it would take me a minute to feel the full wrath of my fury because I would be so floored.
It would be like a nuclear bomb the way that it like happens. And
then you kind of have to wait for that mushroom,
for the rest of the
after
impact.
effect. You watch it come towards you and it seems slower than it is, but it's destroying everything in its path. And that's sort of what that would be like. And that's also what it will be like if I find out that this was happening last year.
Dude, it will be that just... And I'm getting there. I'm getting there where I believe it.
God, I could believe it. I've seen a few things. One saying that Sierra was given a heads up a couple days in advance about it. And so then people were talking about her crying outside of the Hermes store in a white gown on the ground. They were talking about that as being performative. And I'm like, it really doesn't matter. Like, if she was in Hermes shopping and she was like, hang on, also, I don't know which Birkin I want. I know this statement is coming. Holy shit, they just posted it. I need to go get a breath of fresh air.
I wonder if she also didn't get to read the statement. She just found out, she just got confirmation that something that was true. And maybe she expected that the statement might actually take more accountability for how much that could hurt the people in their lives.
Maybe an apology would be good. Like Vanita said it. She was like, it's fascinating to see this statement and no apology to the people that were hurt.
Right.
The person being your best friend.
And Caroline made a really good point on the Patreon, and we'll stop talking about this and you guys can go listen. All of our thoughts, I think, have pretty much remained the same now that
they haven't changed.
Just, we have a little bit more to talk about.
Because we kind of believed it when we were talking about it. So,
but Caroline made a point that like it's incredibly enraging that they like to picture them justifying it to themselves that like they're allowed to do this. And like Sierra actually doesn't have a right to be mad. Like doing it just is so maddening. And then when you compound that with the rumors about West still hooking, it's like, Amanda, you did this for a man who's not even like locked down with you.
Literally.
And also, if you guys just wanted to, here's another thing. I saw a thing that was like, Amanda's gonna come to the reunion and be like, the public made us reveal this. We weren't ready to. We were still exploring it. We wanted to make sure that it was the right thing. What I have to say about, if that is her defense, she's not understanding why people are especially upset. It's because most people who have solid friendships in their life cannot fathom giving themselves permission to explore a connection like that.
No.
That's what you did wrong. It's not that you guys like it was found out like that. You're not in trouble because we found out about it. Like, it's
exactly.
It's that you thought it was okay to do and that you were justified in doing it.
And then it's like again, we also said this on the Patreon, and we will stop talking about it, but it's also for me, on one hand, it's like it's horrific if it happened at all and you opened yourself up to this happening at all. Hiding it, that is a whole other thing. And it is clear now that they did hide it and they lied. And it's like, I wouldn't be able to look my best friend in the eyes if I knew I was doing something that would really hurt her and she didn't know. Like I wouldn't be able to not tell her. Like I would have to stop hanging out with her because I would feel so guilty.
That's what, and that's again, I mean, that brings it back to
Amanda
Raquel, like the way, that's part of why people were like, Raquel, like what is going on in your head?
Yeah.
That you were able to compartmentalize your affair with Sandoval.
Yeah.
And be Ariana's friend and talk to her about her sex life with the man you're fucking. God. It's like, Amanda, you're
actually
here,
sick.
You were sitting here asking Sierra questions about her and West.
Yep.
And in West, same for you. You're going around trying to like get Kyle to apologize and try to fix things with Amanda, even though now it does put into perspective last week's episode when he said, has there ever been a moment where you've like, it's made sense to you that they're together, to Jesse? And Jesse was like, I mean, yeah, it's hard, but they're married. Like, and West's like, yeah, but have you ever like really thought it made sense?
And you know what? That's
and that they should be together.
I give Jesse Solomon a lot of shit and he deserves it. But that is really where I'm like, that's one thing Jesse Solomon would not do. What would Jesse Solomon do? Not that. Like, genuinely, and it does take me back to what you said when you're like, at least he asked. We were so upset. And you know, I bet that's why Amanda was so worked up about him asking West. If she was already interested, or if they were already whatever, then like
video that
him
they're
asking
putting around of it's not like it's from Summer House.
Of her coming out of the room and grabbing his hand, kind of.
Well, no, that video, which I didn't think was that crazy. I think that now we're really digging, to signs. But to me, the most damning thing is when they're playing the spin the bottle, the kiss game, and Amanda kisses Kyle. And that's when West pulls his chair closer to Sierra and starts touching her and all this stuff. And the look on Amanda's face is a little bit like, what are you doing? And that's what Jesse starts laughing at West. And West says, I'm going to fuck you up. And then keeps touching Sierra. It's like, did Jesse know that maybe there was something happen? And that's why Jesse felt comfortable asking West if he could pursue things with Sierra, because it seemed like he had moved on with potentially Amanda. And then he sees that right after Amanda and Kyle like make out in front of West, he has to like, it's like a dick measuring contest, and he scoots over closer to Sierra and starts touching her leg and her back and all that stuff.
That makes my blood boil, because it's like half of what Sierra was upset about is like being used by West. And it's like,
if he's doing it again,
you literally have zero respect for this woman.
He's so fucking
like, you have
gross.
Zero respect for
West, how do you do this twice? All right, you guys. We've got an episode of Gossip Girl to get into. Sorry about all that.
We sure do. And this is a fun episode. We both really liked it, enjoyed it. We start with another Blair Waldorf dream. What could be better than that? Is this also Breakfast at Tiffany's? Is this an appropriate time to mention that I don't think I've seen that movie?
Whoa.
I don't know.
That's crazy. Yeah, this is Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's like the end scene, kind of.
Okay. I mean, I thought so, obviously, because she's dressed that way, but we already did a Breakfast at Tiffany's,
of course,
right?
A cat named Cat.
Or was that Gentlemen Prefer Blondes?
Have we
that was
gotten
Breakfast at Tiffany's, too.
Yeah, because she's wearing the outfit again. She's like looking at the window.
Yeah.
But yes, this is also Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Moon River's playing. She's calling after a cat named Cat. She's wearing a khaki trench coat in an alley. And she's super upset and crying. And she turns around and we see Nate walk in. And this is the epitome of a guy that Phoebe, as a young girl, would have said. And that is a H.O.T. Dapper Dan. That's future husband vibes. Like, that's what Phoebe would have said. Did you get a little flutter in your chest watching
Nate,
this time?
Well, I can't like picture it, because what I can only picture of Nate in this episode is his hair coming down just like a little bit too long over his eyes.
Yes. Well, in this scene, and I wonder, actually,
is it pushed up?
No, it's parted on the side and then it's like slicked. And I wonder if actually, because
he needed it long.
For theater,
Maybe
they don't let the boys cut their hair because then we can style it in whatever like period way we need to. And so I wonder if they were like, for this episode, like maybe they filmed that scene last and they were like, we need to keep your hair at this length. Otherwise we can't do this hairstyle because your hair will be too short.
To that I say we couldn't have just pushed it a little bit over.
I know, but then it would have been like Justin Bieber. I know. Anyway.
But yeah, Chase Crawford has a lot of what like Zac Efron had, especially in High School Musical 3, which is my like
it boy.
I was in love with Zac Efron the moment he graced my screen in Sweet Life of Zack.
You were also in love with the way he spelled his name. You were like, and that's a hottie, and that's a hot guy. Spell your name with a C, okay? No H even? That's a hot guy.
But what I will say about High School Musical 1 is I didn't like his hair. High School Musical 2, I'm like, we're getting somewhere.
Well, High School Musical 1, he is like 14 years old, so I think it's okay if we don't think he's
3. This is little Phoebe. Come on.
Okay.
Even at that,
sorry, I didn't realize.
Even at that age, because I had a pillow with.
You knew what hot was.
Yeah.
I pretty much was born knowing what hot is.
Little Phoebe was like, I had a pillow with that Zac Efron's face on it, and I was like, well, this isn't really like my favorite Zac Efron.
And you're like, I know that like someone would probably think it's weird, but I'm just practicing kissing on this pillow. And that's fine. And it's better than what my other sister's doing, which is practicing kissing on her Zayn Malik poster in her room and then defacing it.
I did deface a couple High School Musical posters because of Vanessa. When I found out Vanessa Hudgens and him were like really dating.
When you found out she sent nudes and you were like, oh, he's dating a whore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy, guys. When Phoebe found out that Vanessa Hudgens sent bathing suit pics, Phoebe was like, oh, I didn't know Gabriela Montez was a super slut. And I was like, Phoebe, no slut shaming. Like, and that was early. That was early for me to know that. But I knew that. No slut shaming.
Uh-huh.
Think about that. Giggly Squad also, they were just talking about like, release the nudes. Like, who cares? Like, who actually cares at this point? And I do feel like that's true. Like,
I feel like it doesn't have to be
every
a scandal.
famous person has taken nudes. And if it's released, guess what? Just put it behind a paywall. Like,
it doesn't need to be a scandal anymore. But like, I would imagine that would be
it would be a bad day.
Unless you've done Full Frontal on an HBO show.
Right.
If we've already seen it, it's like release
which most of us have. So it's like at that point, like once you get to the point in your life where you do Full Frontal on HBO, you're like
kind of
whatever,
it should be
like
written in your contract.
A BlackBerry nude, like what's that going to do to me?
As soon as the episode airs, nudes release.
Nudes are released. Yeah. So Nate shows up in the alley and Blair is screaming for the cat and he looks so handsome and he goes, Jenny, you don't have a cat. And she says, I'm Blair. And he goes, actually, you don't have anyone. Oh my God, what a sad dream.
I know.
What a horrifying, sad dream. And guess what? Life imitates art. Guess what? This dream imitates her life is what I
Guys,
because
this is
turns out this is actually might as well happen to her.
Literally. She wakes up
back in. You go.
And Dorota is telling her to get up. She's got to get up. Serena's coming up to walk with her to school. And Blair is like, I can't go back. I really can't go back. It's the same feeling that she had when she was trying to leave to Paris, like before Serena convinced her to come back. But now that it's real, she's like, I don't know if I can freaking do this. I don't know if I can do this. And so at the palace, Serena is getting ready and finds Chuck doing the unthinkable. Smoking in her bathroom. A cigarette. A freaking cigarette in her bath. And she is telling him to get out because she needs to shower and everything. I'm like, this is where I'm a little bit like, okay, as the parents, you guys are billionaires. Why are the step siblings who were in the same year and also like your sexually deviant son, like why are they having to share a bathroom? I just feel like we could have picked a hotel room with a bathroom where like Eric and Chuck at least share a bathroom. I don't really think in this tax bracket anybody needs to share a bathroom. I think Lily and Bart probably have separate bathrooms. So anyway, that's my rant about that. Anyway, Serena is like, okay, well then I'm not freaking showering. My hair looks great always. And so then we were like going. Then Jenny's walking to school with all That actually
Still
scared
got it.
me.
Still got it. It's April Fool's. Boo. I went to the gas station to get some Alani's. As I was checking out, the girl was like, oh, by the way, that's where I just was. Just kidding.
Right.
I was like, okay, and that'll be $1,372. It was like $13.72.
Wait, I'm dead.
She goes,
Me?
April Fool's.
Wait, is that real?
It's like this older, yes, it's like this older woman. And guess who was behind me in line?
Who?
Mr. McKeever.
Oh my God. Did she pull the same prank on him?
World famous epic meeting of the minds today in 7-Eleven. Me, this cashier, Mr. McKeever. I don't know if she pulled a prank on him. I mean, he probably heard the prank she pulled on me, so he's probably ready for it. And of course,
That's
me, I
so
was
funny.
like, okay, that's chump change. Got it.
Dorit shopping in the Hamptons.
Jesus Christ. Dorit is braver than me, by the way. Not her, like, her card getting declined.
3 cards getting declined and her being like, meh.
On camera,
okay.
and she's continuing to shop like this. Let me tell you, I wouldn't be running my card on camera for the world if that had happened.
We love her.
Okay, so anyway, I heard you got through the shower scene.
Yeah, now we're at Jenny walking to school.
Okay, so at first I was like, wait a minute, what did Jenny just say that Hazel lent her a bracelet in Aspen? I was so confused by this.
Well, they were
What
just
just
in Aspen.
happened? Did they just have like spring break?
Yeah, because I wonder if maybe there was a bit of a break because this is episode 13. So I wonder.
Okay, yeah,
I do
there
think they
must have
had
been.
spring break because we've already done Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And yeah, we've got Lily and the Basses, the soon-to-be Basses, are living together. And Blair hasn't gone to school in a week. Jenny went to Aspen. So like, I think that people have been out and about. But she went to Aspen with the girls. And then it's Jenny's birthday tomorrow. And they're going out for her birthday. And Jenny just like, it does make me like sad for her because she just is so, but I'm also like, these girls have to know. And I don't know like how much they will really care if you're just on, like, I think it's like, if you were just honest about it. But
It's
when you're
the
that
lying.
age, yeah,
You know?
when you're that age, you're just like, everything is this serious.
Mhm.
Everything is this serious. And it's just not. And then there's an ATM, and this is, pre-Venmo, pre-Snap Cash. Did you ever use Snap Cash?
No.
Do you know what it is?
I'm freaking Gen Z over here.
Oh God,
No.
shut up.
No,
It's
I don't
on
know what that is.
Snapchat. Shocker.
Oh, wow.
This was crazy. All you had to do was type a $, the number that you wanted to send. Don't even need a decimal point, and press send. And if it was connected to your
So it's like
bank
Apple
account,
Cash.
yeah, but you didn't even. It could be like a text. Like mom would send me money on Snap Cash because there was no Venmo. There was no like. It was either
It's
that or she
crazy
was
that
mailing me
that's where that
cash.
was originated. But also, that's like, at that point, Snapchat, early on Snapchat was used for like primarily one thing specifically. So the fact that it was the first social media to then connect easy
it might make
access
sense.
texting money, it's just
it might make sense.
it's a question, especially when kids are using that app. Just feels like maybe not.
God, stop it. Okay, so Isabel's like, oh, hey, Jenny, there's an ATM. Or Cotty, she's like, there's an ATM. Didn't you want to stop and pay Penelope back for brunch? But Penelope doesn't want to stop. So Jenny is getting herself in a deep fucking hole. Like, she's indebted to these girls. Brunch was $120.
Do you think it was 120 for all of them or each?
I don't know. I don't know.
How many of them are there? Like 120 actually doesn't seem that
4?
insane.
5. But I thought it was just like for Jenny, because I'm like, why would Jenny?
But that's why I'm saying, I'm like,
was it the
anyway.
type of thing that like maybe Jenny was like, oh, I don't have my card on me, and all the other girls did, and so when they paid, Penelope just paid for her, and then
Yeah.
Jenny was like, I'll get you back.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it 120 per person or 120 for the whole brunch?
No, I think it's per person, because my thought is that the other girls paid their 120 with their cards at the table,
Yeah.
and Jenny maybe was like, I can't pay that, so she said she didn't have her card, and maybe that's what happened. I don't know.
But they say you'll just get the next one, which I'm sure will be great.
No, she won't. No, she won't. So Serena, Chuck, and Eric are now on the steps. Eric's hiding from his valet. Because they're all in like the same suite now, as we were saying. And I guess Chuck's staff is very different. Eric says they're very attentive. And I forgot for a second that we don't know Eric's gay.
Right. Well, it's also funny to see the way that this show depicts the difference in levels of wealth. Like, we obviously know the Vanderwoodsons are well off, but
yes,
this is like even this is exuberant for them.
Right. Because he's like, oh, your staff is so attentive. I will say, like, they were at a hotel. They're both at, are they in the same hotel?
Yeah.
Oh. So then literally, yeah, it's just the best stuff. Crazy. They come downstairs for breakfast. Parents are having breakfast. Hilarious. Lily in sunglasses. Terrible headache. She's cracking me up sitting there at the breakfast table with her fucking sunglasses on like this.
Guys, that is Caroline.
Mood. It's Rachel Zoe and me.
I was just going to say it's Rachel Zoe, and then I thought I'd pay you an even better compliment and say it's you.
Thank you. That's really sweet of you, actually. You're buttering me up for something. I noticed. They're planning the wedding.
I just called you super slut not that long ago.
I forgot. Now I'm pissed. I'm freaking pissed off. They're planning the wedding, and like I guess it's frustrating. And Chuck, here's what I gotta say. This was an interesting episode for Chuck. We see a lot more of the dynamic with his father. And you know what? Boys can have daddy issues too. All right? There I said it.
And there we said it.
And maybe that's why Chuck and Blair are so perfect for each other, because they both have undisputable daddy issues.
Well, also, there's so much of both of them that is like they really seek their parents' approval. Like, yes. Blair, even though she does have daddy issues, she also like all she wants more than the world is for Eleanor to like think she's perfect.
Yeah.
And Chuck is constantly trying to prove himself to his dad.
Yeah.
And they try to do it in the same fields as their parents. Like, Blair wanted to be the model.
Right.
And wanted to do well for her mom. And Chuck wants to do the bar and everything. And
Chuck and Blair both have names. You know, the Bass name, the Waldorf name. Like, they kind of keep harping on that like, that means something.
Are the Basses kind of like a different family that puts their name on a lot of things in that city?
The Trumps?
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know. I don't want to liken them to anybody. I really have been trying not to think about any of their political affiliations during this show, because I'm like, I don't want to. It also meant something different back then, I will say. Like, yeah. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Like, do you think, okay, take out who we know him to be now?
Because that's what's so hard about it. Is like, the second that I think, like, the Basses are definitely Republicans, 100%.
Well, also, even just take I don't even mean politically, take the politics out of it for a second, and take Trump post Gossip Girl out of it.
Just think of him as a reality star in this moment.
When he was like the tycoon in New York, I feel like that's kind of what they were trying to emulate with the Basses.
I think so too. And I try really hard not to think about that now, just because of who that man has turned out to be, like, in our lives. But I do see it different. Like, I do feel like there's like a before times and an after times for also like the two-party system and like what it meant. Because it's always been like divisive, but I do feel like in the past like 10 years, it's become...
Well, now it's become even more divisive within the two-part, like...
Well, yes.
And there's so much more infighting, and both parties are way more outward about their infighting than they ever have been.
Yeah, exactly. Anywho, but what's interesting is like, the Basses and the Waldorfs, they each have like these names. And I feel like we kind of heard last episode too, like the Vanderwoodson name is more a social thing and less of like a business and like a legacy in that way. And it's almost like Hilton's. Well, I guess the Hiltons are obviously.
Well, I was going to liken it to the Vanderbilts, who are also still obviously super wealthy, but I feel like their name, or maybe actually it's kind of like a Kennedy name, like a Kennedy and not in like the outskirts of the Kennedy family, not the people that were actively running for office, but kind of like the Bouviers and that kind of.
They're honestly a lot like Little Edie.
When you, well, I'm thinking about like Carolyn Bessette is honestly like very much like Lily Vanderwoodson, low key,
100%.
If Carolyn Bessette got to grow up more, Yes. She would have been like Lily. In all the good ways, she would have been
Yes,
like
I agree.
Lily Vanderwoodson.
Totally. But so we just really see a lot in this episode of, we've seen a lot of the Blair exploration of her daddy issues, her mommy issues, her insecurities. And now we're seeing it with Chuck. And it was making me kind of sad. Like, this is one of those moments where it's like, oh, we see how the monster came to be. Because he's there. He's really trying to butter up Lily. And Chuck's dad is like, hey, Chuck, if you're going to be my best man, like, you've got to behave. And Chuck is so honored. Like, you could just see, he straightens out. He's like, he didn't expect it at all. And I'm like, Chuck, who else would it have been? Like, even though it's just for appearances. But what sucks too is, like, as an audience member, I can tell that Bart is asking Chuck not because Chuck is the best man, but because who else would he ask? And that looks good and whatever. But for Chuck in this moment, he believes that his dad is like, you're the best man. You are my best man. And Chuck says, I'd be honored, sir. And cheers to our family. And I just feel like Chuck is genuinely excited
for the opportunity to have a family like this.
To have a family, even though, like, he makes all these jokes about wanting to sleep with Serena. But I genuinely think, like, I do feel like that's part of his, like, defense mechanism. Like, it's just, like, this exterior he puts out there.
But
yes. But it also just, throughout this whole episode, we're going to see Serena gets these gifts, these inappropriate gifts, and she's so convinced that it's Chuck who's sending them. And Chuck ends up being the person that, like, helps her with this whole thing, and the person that she can come to, and like a brother. And it's, I don't know. It's just like a sweet moment to, like, see this side of Chuck where, like, oh, he really wants a family and he wants this, but he pretends so much that he doesn't because he didn't think he would ever get to have
it. So we go to the loft and Rufus is telling Dan all about Jenny's wonderful trip.
Dan? Was he with his mom? Because Dan says, I just came straight from the airport to drive Jenny to school and she's not here.
Oh, well.
Almost like you drive.
Where was he?
Where's your car? For some reason, I think he was
drive?
with Allison.
Maybe. I feel like maybe they make a comment about it later.
Because Jenny was supposed to go to something with her mom, and instead she went to Aspen.
Yes.
And this is so that moment of, like, the older brother being like, well, what? Jenny got out of it and it's fine and everyone's happy for her, but I had to fucking go. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's so that
and you get
moment.
No gold stars to
and
do
they're like,
it.
listen, we're happy for Jenny. We're happy for her. It's like, okay, cool. So anyway, Dan is, like, super surprised that they let Jenny go, which I honestly am surprised too. And they're like, well, she was really well taken care of. We even got to speak to her on the private plane.
It's really weird the way Rufus is talking about it. I can't exactly tell if he's, like, actually really excited about Jenny's experience or if he's being an asshole about Jenny wanting to do those things. It didn't come off that way entirely. Like, the way you would expect Rufus to talk about this stuff
that's why I was, like, so surprised. And that's why I think Dan is so surprised. He's like, wait, what? Like, it's very... I also feel like they have this sort of, like, Brooklyn chip on their shoulder where they're like, you're not better than us and we're not going to let you pay for these things or whatever because we can and whatever. So it's interesting that they would let her go on this, like, paid for trip. And Dan makes a comment because Rufus is like, yeah, it's the best birthday present we could have gotten her. And Dan, being so shady, goes, oh, so you paid for it? Dan, you know very well he didn't. That was a crazy fucking thing to say. He's like, well, no, but I gave her some pocket money. And Jenny's much happier than she's been in a long time. And then Rufus gets mad at Dan for judging him. And he's like, I need your help. We got to figure out what Jenny wants to do for her birthday. And by the way, what the hell are you still doing here? You have school, my man.
I know, that was like, I was like, okay, they had to throw in that kind of Humphrey line where they have that weird banter.
What the hell are you still doing here?
On the way to school, Blair is talking to Serena and she's saying, you can just
we
say
just
what
have
she
to point
said.
out, Blair's covered every single visible inch of her body. Blair is wearing a long coat, long sleeve underneath her head, the coat, gloves, a headscarf, glasses that are huge. I mean, she is... I can't see her feet, but I have to imagine she's got boots, tights, socks, maxi skirt.
She's giving a hybrid of the character in Company Retreat who needs to be covered for the sun at all times, and also
girl who
little
loves
Edie.
Bones.
Yes.
Oh my God,
who
yes.
loves Bones tied with little Edie.
And honestly, I'm sorry, Blair Waldorf loves Grey Gardens. You cannot tell me otherwise.
And in another life,
it's like a guilty pleasure watch.
In another life, Eleanor and Blair are Big and Little Edie.
Just if things went a little bit differently for them. Oh my God, that is so fucking funny to think about. That is so funny to think about.
This is my costume for today.
This is my costume for... I literally can't find the accent inside my body if I had a gun to my head anymore.
Guys,
I think I played it.
There are a couple... Just go watch Little Edie's Greatest Hits.
You won't believe it. You'll think that she's faking because it's unlike any accent you've probably ever heard. And I remember when I did the show...
You know who it kind of sounds like?
Who?
Dorit Kemsley.
Do you think? Maybe.
I just mean in terms of
it's
like the ridiculousness.
Old money, like Hamptons accent that we do not hear anymore. It's very interesting, very weird, to the point that, like, so the musical, the way it's done is like Act 1 is young little Edie when she's like a young, beautiful Deb, when she's a young, beautiful, eligible debutante. And that's the one that I played. And she still has this accent, but it's like a little bit more polished. And then in Act 2, we fast forward and it's little Edie grown up, fucking crazy berserk, and her mom also. And the person who plays Big Edie in Act 1 plays Little Edie in Act 2 and whatever. And I remember being like really embarrassed to do the accent because I was like, the people who come see this show aren't going to know like what I'm doing, and they're going to think that like I just have a really bad accent. And
but you were
it's the first act when like things seem normal. So whatever. But I'm very good at accents. So my accent was spot on, but I was just like, what if they don't know that?
Right.
And I should really assume better of the audience. By the way, might be going on for one show, Wizard of Oz. Because a girl... No. A girl
as a
can't go to the last show, which I just found out at 1 a.m. last night. We open tomorrow.
It's weird as fuck.
She moves set pieces. She's like in all the dance numbers. So I texted the director. I was like, so like, we're going to need to figure this out because she's not going to be here. And like, I'm concerned about spacing, but I'm also more concerned about like the set pieces that have to go. Like for the tornado scene, she's like moving a door, like all this shit, it has to go. And I was like, worst case scenario, I'll just go on, like, and I'll do it. And he was like,
Caroline said to the director, okay, worst
I was like
case
half
scenario.
Joking. I mean, it would make sense because I did make up all the dances, so I know them. And you wouldn't have to teach anybody. And it's like, I'm sorry, but this cast, if one person is missing, this whole thing will fall apart. Like the spacing it'll just go. And but I was like, I don't want to wear a costume. I'll be in my street clothes. But that's the show that Anthony and Kelly are coming to. So now I'm like,
oh, it's even better.
What can't she do? Anyway,
so
back to this.
Serena is filling Blair in on everything that's happened. And I'm like, but okay. If it
has been 3
break,
weeks since this happened, by the way.
Oh, okay. So one of these weeks
Serena
was spring
says,
break, I assume.
Your 3-week-old scandal is old news. Yeah.
And okay, so we find out that she's basically telling Blair how many other scandals have happened so that she feels better about her scandal. Yes. Cody's family moved back. Cody's dad moved the entire family back to Israel.
Are we never going to see Cody? I really didn't realize that. I guess we never see Cody again.
Is that true?
We had this iconic Cody and Iz duo for 13 episodes.
But I really feel like I remember
why did we get all these other minions? Like, they just showed up one day. Hazel, Penelope, and what's her name? Elise? Is that the other girl?
Maybe.
They literally just popped up out of thin air one day. And Nelly Yuki. I'm like, you girls were not here.
Right. And so that happened. Serena has moved in with the Basses. And so she's just, and I'm like, okay, but that's just 2 things.
She's like, Blair, everybody's talking about moi. Okay, chill. Believe me, there's a much bigger scandal. It's that I'm living with Chuck Bass.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to say his name.
Only thing worse than sleeping with Chuck Bass is living with him. What'd you say?
It doesn't matter.
It does. So Blair is finally like, okay, whatever. You've convinced me it's going to be okay. She hands Serena her sunglasses. She takes off her scarf. We get to school. And it definitely right away seems like people are still talking. Everyone is like giving her side glances. They're calling this, quote, the overthrow of Blair Waldorf. Impossible.
Something happens here that is actually, I mean, Jenny is lucky Blair did not get superhuman strength and launch up Spider-Man style to where Jenny is standing and choke her out.
I'm honestly blown away by Blair's reaction to what happens because
I'm blown away by Jenny
think she's so
being in this
shocked.
mindset yet.
I'm like, was this Jenny's idea or was this somebody else's idea?
It looked like it was, because when Nate looks at them, Jenny makes that face like,
guys, what they do, they're all eating Yoplait yogurt, and they all the girls, all the minions, fling spoonfuls of yogurt from above directly onto Blair Waldorf's head. And Blair just walks into the school. I'm like, girl, turn around. I'm already home. If that happened to me, I'm already halfway down the street. Like, I'm certainly not doing the rest of the day with dairy in my hair.
We get scenes later where her hair looks completely normal. I'm like, are there showers? Well, I guess at the school maybe they have like,
but they have
really
a dry
nice
bar. They have a dry bar in
showers.
Constance. Yeah. There's definitely a dry bar.
So Nate's seen
Serena,
this whole thing.
But why won't Serena go is the question.
Yeah,
Serena,
by the way,
her whole thing this whole episode is that her hair is dirty.
And I'm like, her hair
like,
looks...
you look filthy.
I hate to break it to you, Blake. Your hair looks the same it looks in every episode in this episode.
Which is, gorgeous. Your hair was like
she sits down at breakfast and Lily Vanderwoodson is like, oh my God. She may as well say,
smells.
You reek.
She might.
She can't believe how her hair... It's giving mom when I haven't showered in 24 hours and 1 minute. And she is like, oh my God, Phoebe, you haven't showered in days. I get your hair is great. You know you have to wash your hair every 24 hours. Your hair is greasy. You cannot go out like that. And blow dry it. Do not go out of this house with wet hair.
Oh my God. It is giving that. It's 100. That's what Lily is. But every single person is mentioning it to Serena. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Serena's hair does look like this every day. It looks like a glorified rat's nest every day. And that was
Serena's pep talk to Blair was, look, everyone's just going to notice how my hair just looks a little bit dirtier than usual.
Blair, I took one for the team. I didn't take a shower this morning, and I stood in the bathroom while Chuck hotboxed it, okay? So
because you're
no one's going to be talking about you.
Your fuckboy boyfriend.
Okay, so Nate, though, we do get the glance. We see Jenny after the yogurt. She seems very pleased with herself, and we pan over to Nate, and he looks at Jenny, and it's like, he might not like Blair, but he doesn't like that, because who is he at the end of the day? Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Good
people
guy
pleaser.
Nate.
Right.
Both of those, I think.
Yep.
He is.
So later, he pulls Jenny aside and is like, hey,
the girls are
Jay?
so impressed, by the way.
Hey, little Jay.
Can we talk?
This is literally, not to make things political, this is Marco Rubio walking into the Oval Office while Pete Hegseth is hyping Donald Trump up about this war. Marco Rubio walks in and he's like, hey,
how y'all doing?
Don?
Big Donnie?
I think we're a little in over our heads here.
And Pete's like, let's rev it up. Let's rev it up. It's my favorite place to be. Place to be. Look at my shoes. Flames on them and they light up.
He has one of those hats on that has 2 beer cans with the straws.
Yes, and he's just funneling. Okay, Colin Jost, hope you're listening. I want to see this weekend, okay? Colin Jost is so
He's
funny.
so funny. I love his little...
It's perfect. And he's like, he just randomly, he'll do something and then he'll decide to stick the tongue out. But I loved the joke when they panned onto his feet and he's like, check out my new shoes. And they fit perfectly. And it goes down and there's this much space in the back and he's wearing red and white striped socks.
Did you see that news story?
About the shoes?
Yeah.
Being too big? Yes.
Well, Donald Trump gifted all those to each member of the cabinet, and they're all too big for all of them.
Well, the director of Wizard of Oz was really upset because he has a pair of those shoes. And then Donald Trump did that, and he was like, are you fucking kidding me? Now I'm wearing the official shoe of hell. So Nate is like, listen, I told Blair it was you that told me about everything. With Chuck. So you really need to be careful because you do not know what you're dealing with. And she's like, Nate, look at me. I'm not so little anymore. Okay. I know you're thinking of me as just the same little Jenny Humphrey from the block, but it's not. I know what I'm doing.
I've been in Aspen for a week.
On a PJ.
I've been on a PJ.
That's a private jet. That's a private jet. But he's like, listen, and he makes a really great point here. He's like, your new circle, they have been friends with Blair forever. And they just all flung yogurt on her head. So what makes you think they're not going to turn around and do this to you? And Jenny,
you're already in trillions of dollars of debt also.
Yeah. God, that is stressing me out.
So anyway,
Serena and Blair,
Jenny does try to convince Nate that they're friends because they have things in common. They're real friends.
And then he's like, well, I'll give you one thing. You got good aim. And he walks away. I'm like, Nate, that was unnecessary.
That was mean. That wasn't good.
That was
guy
mean.
Nate.
That was mean. I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. You're trying it on. I want you to stop. So Serena and Blair are on the Met steps, just them. And Serena's reminding Blair, listen to me. You're Blair Waldorf, remember? And like, that would be all I needed to hear to feel like I just drank a 5-hour energy and I can take over the world. Blair, you just don't know the power you have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then we look over and we see Chuck, and Blair's like, oh, he's with a blonde mini Chuck, and it's Eric. And Serena's in shock at that, while Blair is in shock at little Jay showing up with the girls.
Right. So then we, okay, so we're still on the steps, right? It's just we're going to Jenny.
Yeah, and the girls are talking to Jenny, and they're like, so like, what were you talking to Nate about? Because we find out that Penelope has like always had a really huge crush on Nate, which I'm like, and you've been best friends with Blair?
Okay, Amanda Petula.
Maybe not. Okay, Amanda Petula. Wow. I see parallels everywhere. And they're like, maybe Jenny, like you could do a solid, like you owe her and you could set her and Nate up. And I'm like, Jenny's like, yeah, but I want Nate for me, like that. She doesn't say that, but you can tell. You can tell.
So Serena tells Blair that the girls are going to take Jenny out for her birthday, and
Serena was invited.
She was invited, you guys.
Blair was not.
And Serena's like, and of course, I said no. But I am going to go to this other thing for Jenny with Dan. And I'm just like,
it's just
I
family,
just feel like in a high school relationship, it's like, you don't need to go to your boyfriend's sister's birthday party.
I agree with you. And they haven't been dating that long. But I guess it is one thing if it's like Serena and Jenny are like sort of friends. You know what I mean? Like they go to the same school. They're sort of in the same circle. Jenny wants to be friends with Serena. So like it would make sense to me if Jenny was like, I want Serena to come,
that's
you
true.
know? But it is like, yeah.
It could have been an easy thing for Serena to get out of those. All
yes,
I mean.
Totally. And Blair looks at her and she's like, how do you manage to get out of everything unscathed? And Serena goes, because I'm nice. You should try it sometime. Go ahead. Tell me my hair looks beautiful.
That was a really good impression of her. And then Blair, this is where I'm like, Blair doesn't have the social prowess that sometimes we give her credit for. At times. She's great at social warfare, but she sometimes
but this is her sister.
social
this
cues,
is her
it's
bestie.
funny. She goes, but
I would say this to you.
Your hair.
But your hair looks disgusting. Did you even shower? It's so funny.
And that's another reason that like I know Caroline wants to be Blair so badly, but between her and Kelly, that's Kelly.
That is more of a Kelly thing to say, but Kelly wouldn't say that to me. But I would say that to you. You know who would say it? Maggie, Kelly's sister, would say it to Kelly. Maggie's got the Blair bone in her. And so then,
but it's almost the only reason I liken it to Kelly is because Blair doesn't say it in a mean. It's not mean the way that she says
really,
it.
It's literally just like they are like
an
it's such a sisterly relationship. It really is. Like they just because we see. I mean, think about how much their friendship has withstood. They have had so many massive blow up fights that like could have ended the friendship completely.
I mean, this is you and Caitlin. This is low-key
it's me and Caitlin. It's me and Kelly too. We've had some of those, but it's like, and it just then they can just blow past it in 1 second, and like,
and that's
it's also like us. It's sisterhood. It's like I can be so fucking mad at you, scream at you, and then 1 minute later we can do an interview with Sarah Shepard. That was a great day. I got to the house, you guys. I fucking ripped Phoebe a new one. We're screaming at each other, and then we're like, "Hey, Sarah. Hey, girl. What's up?" And everything was fine. Went to the Pirates game that night.
Dad was like, I think Dad even made a comment about it, which is like,
concerned.
I'm like, Dad, this has been our whole life.
He was like, I didn't think this was going to happen. I was like, oh, this happens every time we record the podcast, so.
It's really good for our relationship.
It's really, people love it. So Serena says to Blair, I say this out of love, but your being a bitch is what got dairy in your hair in the first place. Be nice and neutral and things will swim back to normal. So the girls, meaning the minions, they're going to Butter, the restaurant Butter at 7. And Jenny like can't go out again tonight and she doesn't want to tell them why she can't. And they're like, she
says she has a better idea, which is going to be social freaking warfare.
Yes. So Jenny approaches Blair and Serena is so excited. Serena's like jumping for joy. She's like, can't control her body. She wants Blair to be nice so bad. And Jenny invites Blair to join them at Butter. And before Blair can even open her mouth, Serena goes,
she'd love to.
She'd be delighted. Okay,
Good
chill.
Serena impressions today.
Thank you so much. I mean, they'll keep getting better.
So that night, Serena and Dan are hooking up when...
And she tells Dan, this is, again, like, we can drop it now. She goes, you smell so clean. I'm like, you can drop it. We're good.
And
We
also,
get
like,
it that your hair's dirty.
You didn't want to shower before your boyfriend came over?
What if
after
he
you
tries to
haven't
go down there?
Well, also, if you haven't, like, you don't even just, like, want to smell better.
I know. Great. Well, you know what? Honestly, Dan always smells like Brooklyn water, so she's probably honestly just like shocked he smells
That's why
clean.
she's shocked he smells clean.
Yeah.
He went to the dry bar today.
Oh my God, he went to the dry bar. I could tell he got a perm. So and okay, Dan also like continues to be on my shit list. He's so annoying to me. He says to Serena, "You're not going to tell me the Chuck shower story again, are you?" Well, if she did, that'd be fine.
He sucks.
Like, and that's not the only comment he's going to make like that to her this episode about how like she's annoying and she's just completely unfazed by it. And I'm like, Serena, you don't have to take this.
Mm-mm.
You just don't have to take this.
So Chuck comes upstairs.
Why were they hooking up with the door open? Chuck just walks right in. I'm like, you can't get
Serena
mad
wanted
at him.
To see. Serena wanted him to see.
She literally did. Like, why was that fucking door open? And also, why are there shoes on the bed? Dan and Serena both have shoes on the bed, and their shoes are at the pillow side. Well, I guess they're at a hotel, and Chuck's staff is really attentive, so they're gonna have new sheets.
She smells fucking dirty.
No wonder. No fucking wonder. She's like, everyone's talking about how Amanda Batula smells. Maybe it's the same thing. Anyway, Serena needs to come downstairs because the wedding caterer is preparing a tasting for the family. Dan's like, okay, I'll leave. And Chuck goes, no need. I asked the staff to prepare a seat. And it's like, Chuck, who are you? But it's cute. Like, again, he's like...
But Dan is still, like, kind of an asshole about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I do get it. Because, like, I would also be, like, so uncomfortable. I'd be waiting for the other shoe to drop the whole time. Yeah. But it really doesn't seem like it's going to. So they're all down there. They're trying the food. And a gift comes in for Serena. And she's, like, looking at Dan like she thinks it's from him. She's like, so I hate when moments like that happen on TV. It makes me feel awkward.
I know. Because they're like, not for me. What would it be for?
Not for me.
What would it be for? It's my sister's birthday, not yours.
Not yours. Not yours. She opens it up. It's a bunch of porn and handcuffs. And she's like...
By the way, the package says open immediately.
Okay, she asks if it needs to be refrigerated. So that must be why she asks that. Because it says it. And she thinks it was Chuck, which does make, I mean, of course, Chuck, she's going to think that, but he swears it wasn't. And he does think it's like funny. And he kind of laughs and he like makes one dirty joke and he like Bart brings the hammer down. Chuck says like one thing about it and Bart's like, Chuck! And it's just like, okay, like Bart runs a tight ship. But also like we have to remember Bart's never around. So it is that other thing of like Chuck wants his
like,
dad to be around.
Kind of being showy about how he's showy. Strict.
I'm such a good parent, you know, that kind of a thing. But it's also like Bart has never been around. Chuck has been living on his own in the hotel since we met him. And like now his dad wants to come back and be a present dad. And it's it's like what happened with Allison. Like you're going to come back and just waltz in. And it's like, it's just confusing for the kid, I think. And so then like Serena storms out of the room. Dan goes to take the box. Lily asks Dan to take the box and he says, with pleasure. Not what I meant, not what I meant. and he leaves. Yeah. This next scene makes me want to lay down on the road at 5 p.m.
Whoa, yeah.
And
okay, so
was
Blair,
a sly way of saying end it all.
Blair shows up at
oh my God. She doesn't show up. We show up. She's been there. She's been waiting at Butter.
No, I hate it.
And no one is fucking there at this big ass table. And the waitress keeps coming up and being like, girl, let's fucking get a move on. Like you're waiting my table. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then we go back to all the girls. They're all hanging out at Hazel's house and cracking up at the idea of Blair sitting there waiting and them not showing up and like looking at the door to check to see if it's them and then it not being them. I'm like, you guys are actually diabolical. This is pure evil.
So mean. And then, and also guys, the table is like in the middle of a packed restaurant. And like the fact that she went,
I was kind of thinking Blair wouldn't show, you know?
It's
like
so sad to me.
Serena agreed for her and Serena's not even there. Like,
and Jenny then does the unthinkable. She's been talking about like what she's gonna wear to her birthday, and she gets the stores mixed up. At first, she said that she had dresses reserved at Bendel's, and then she says Bergdorf's, and they kind of catch her in that. And then she goes to the bathroom or something and
she
comes
could have them at
across.
both. You girls probably do.
Exactly.
No, Rufus calls her, so she steps out of the room to take the call. And as she's talking to Rufus, she walks into this massive walk-in closet with all of these design, it's Hazel's mom's closet, and there's all these designer clothes. And she hangs up on her dad. And we just see the wheels start turning. Oh my God, this is one of those times I'm like, no. I want to jump into the TV screen and stop this from happening. We go back to Butter. Blair calls the waitress over. She orders another drink. She orders food. And she asks for them to separate the tables. And then Blair Waldorf is back. All she needed was a good scheme to reactivate her and get her back to her roots and back to who she is. She makes the call and she goes, call Brooklyn. I think that's in New York.
So the next day, Jenny is going to this consignment store to bring the dress that she stole from Hazel's mom's closet.
She stole this red Valentino custom gown, and
she's trading it for a Dolce Gabbana.
Phoebe just, oh my God. Phoebe just said Dolce Gabbana.
Dorit Kemsley just heard a gunshot go off.
Literally.
Like a cannon in the Hunger Games. You say
Dolce and Gabbana. It's like in Devil Wears Prada. She goes, how do you spell Dolce? That's what she says. So it is Dolce and Gabbana.
Right.
Just so you know it's not Dolce and Gabbana.
Well, I knew it was in Gabbana, of course.
Dolce.
Anyway.
Did you really think that? You watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
No, I know, but I got nervous if I said Dolce, you were going to be like, and that's crazy. That's a crazy way to say it.
No, it's not the same as saying Portia, but that is how you say it.
Anyway,
Still saying
Dolce & Gabbana. And she's trading it for that. It's $1,200 in exchange for the one that she bought. And the manager is kind of rude about it, but she does eventually agree.
It's also, yeah, I think she's like, am I really going to be able to pull a fast one over on this girl? We also find out Jenny sold her sewing machine. So that's how she's been getting cash for whatever she's doing. Her sewing machine is in the shop. We then go to Chuck, Eric, and Bart. They're in a limo. They're discussing the bachelor party. Chuck has the whole bachelor party planned out. And this is grimy, but it's also I can't believe I'm going to say this, kind of cute. He's like, oh, and we'll go to these places because there's a lower age of consent, for Eric. So Eric can participate in whatever they're doing. Which but it's cute that he wants to include Eric.
I agree.
Maybe. Am I crazy? Is this crazy? Is that so
People are probably going to come for you, but
they are probably going to come for me. Bart doesn't care at all. Eric gets out of the car. Bart just wants to talk to Chuck. And he's like, dude, what's going on? I think you sent that package. And he says, I thought making you my best man would help. And that's this moment for Chuck where he's like, oh. So you didn't make me your best man because you wanted me to be your best man. You did it because you thought that it was an incentive to help me behave.
Right.
But then Bart's like, well, if that's not enough, I will invest more in Victrola, the club that Chuck has, because he's like, you're doing really well with it, but you have to behave. And so Chuck agrees to the terms.
And so then we go to the school and Serena is calling Blair, who says she's taking the morning off. And
she's volunteering to help the less fortunate. That's what she said.
So funny. And so she asks if Dan is at school, and Serena says, not yet, but I'm sure he's on his way. And then once they hang up, we see that Blair is walking into Rufus's gallery.
Serena also asks how Butter was, and Blair says she didn't go, which oh my God. She can't even tell her best friend.
I wonder how Serena would have reacted. I wonder
I honestly feel like Blair at this point is I wonder if Serena would have been like, oh no, now you're probably doing something, and that's my boyfriend's little sis. That's my boyfriend's fam. It's my new fam. And I think that maybe Serena would have tried to put a stop to whatever's happening maybe, but I don't know. So Rufus walks in and meets Blair. We're back at school. Serena's there, and she's out on the quad. She's out on the whatever. And she receives 3 cases of champagne that she didn't order.
And she still thinks it's Chuck, but
Chuck's
300
face looks very
bottles.
Confused. It's so many. And everyone runs up and starts popping bottles at 9 a.m. at school.
Okay. Dry bar must be slow today.
Sorry, we don't have any clients today because everybody's drinking champagne on the quad. So Yeah. Okay, so Jenny runs up to the minions to show them her, quote, incredible new Dolce. And the girls
she
are pretty much
she
in
freaking
mourning.
she messed up here because
You messed up big time.
Because his
You're going to
house
regret
has
what you
been
did.
allegedly broken into because something is missing
Rob.
and the maid said it wasn't her.
And then they're like, but they'll probably get fired. And I'm like, Jenny, perk your ears up with that, okay? You're going to cost a woman her fucking job. They say that
Jenny,
they called, and Jenny's like, why would like all of this for just like one stinking dress? Like, doesn't she have like a million of them? And they're like, well, the dress is worth $15,000. And Jenny's like, wait a fucking minute. I traded this for a $1,200 dress.
Exactly. So
I got duped.
Later that day, she goes.
But wait, Hazel also, just really quick, her mom said if the dress was returned, she would let it go. So Jenny's like, okay, just have to return the dress.
Mm-hmm. And so then in Brooklyn, Blair is telling Jenny that
Rufus.
Yes, about Jenny trying to kind of find her footing between her old self and her new self.
She's like, listen, the biggest struggle for a girl at her age is trying to reconcile who you're becoming with who you used to be. And she's running herself ragged, straddling two worlds. And Rufus, like, he seems to kind of buy Blair's act, but he also is like, well, I do seem to remember her doing things like dry cleaning and all that. I know she's trying really hard to get into one of those worlds. And Blair's like, well, I'm happy to help. And she's gonna help.
And so we go to Jenny returning to the consignment store, and she is trying to return the Dolce dress for the Valentino dress.
The Dolce Gabbana, she is going to trade back for the Valentino. And Betty runs the consignment shop, by the way. Betty's like, yeah, that's not going to work. I scammed you and I won, bitch. Get smarter. It says New York City. I'm in New York. Here's my life. Like, this is New York, babe. We scam people here. Okay, we scam and we swindle and we don't say sorry.
And so she needs $8,000, and she does something that I can't actually believe. She calls Nate and asks for the $8,000.
This is your knee-jerk reaction, little J? This is the first thing you think to do?
And then when he asks what she would need that kind of money for, she hangs up.
She doesn't even, like, she cuts right to it. She's like, I need to borrow money. $8,000. I'm like, first of all, you're in the middle of the store. Everybody can hear you. This is crazy. And then when he's like, what's going on? She's like, forget it. And it hangs up. She's like, but imagine the stress that would be coursing through your body. Like, I would have no control over my physical
But not enough stress to make her not do another thing that's going to cause her more stress. She puts the dress on under her clothes and walks out of there.
She literally leaves and she does, I'll give her this. She does leave the Dolce. She leaves the other dress. So I was like, but now it's like, now they know it was you.
Now she knows
for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And not that she wouldn't have before,
there was much guessing before, but
yeah, exactly.
So at the palace, Serena gets home and Lily is asking her to come here. And she says that Headmistress Queller called her to tell her about the champagne.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
By
and
the way,
Serena says again that it's Chuck. Oh, what is Lily doing?
She is evaluating centerpieces for the wedding. And she says, I could put this one on a Mylar tablecloth and pretend it's a bar mitzvah. And then Serena comes in and she's like, oh, Serena, I need to talk to you. Will you excuse us? I want privacy for this. And Serena goes, you're going to say something worse than the bar mitzvah remark? Phoebe's completely not here right now. Like, hey, where'd you go just now?
Freaking out.
Oh, God. Okay. So, yeah, Lily explains that she got the call. Like, she's like, are you acting out because of the wedding? Like, what's going on? Serena's like, no. This is Chuck's whole fucking plan. He wants me to look bad, blah, blah, blah. And Lily says, listen, Chuck may be eccentric, but I doubt he's diabolical. And I do want to tell you, Lily, eccentric is just not the word I would choose for Chuck. He has eccentric style, but he's not really an eccentric man. And then Bart comes in and he's like, what has Chuck done? He's the parent that's like, my kid definitely is guilty until proven innocent. And we can relate to that. And so Serena's like, I'll fucking tell you. And so she tells him. Jenny, this scene had me like biting my nails, edge of my seat, afraid, scared for my life. Jenny walks into the Brooklyn loft.
I almost couldn't watch
all of the minions are there. Blair is there holding a cake, one of those photo cakes with a big blow up picture of Jenny's face on it. And there are decorations all over the loft. And Dan later refers to them as like a birthday party for a 12-year-old. So that can kind of tell you what they look like. And everybody yells, surprise. Keep in mind, Jenny just left the consignment shop with Hazel's mother's custom Valentino under her fucking clothes. And she walks in and Hazel, etc., are standing right there. And she's like, I need to like go change, whatever. And as soon as she runs back in her room, all the girls are kind of like annoyed. They're like, we gave up our table. They're talking about Rufus being kind of hot. And Blair is loving this. She's like, as much as you can see what a loser Jenny is, that's exactly the goal here. And so Blair comes out and she goes, Rice Krispies? And has a platter of Rice Krispies for them. And it's just like, she is hitting every note perfectly here. She's doing exactly what needed to happen. And the girls are just like, how long do we fucking have to stay here? This is, by the way, shot number 2 fired at Dan Humphrey in this scene. Serena and Dan are outside, and she's like, oh my God, I just wish you could have seen his face. You wouldn't believe it. Talking about Bart. And Dan goes, yeah, you've told me 3 times.
Dude.
And he goes, I've got some stories too about my mother and the first time I saw her since Christmas. I'm like, okay, dude,
you probably could have
bring
told
it
her
up
that.
then.
Exactly.
You could have just, like,
and so
she's wants to be around you all the time. Stop acting like, I don't know. It's just so fucking stupid.
So
the good guy Nate shows up.
He shows up and he's like, hey, Dan, can we talk for a second? And he tells Dan about the request for $8,000. And
Nate,
why would you do that?
I get it. I get that you're concerned. But it's honestly, like, this is probably the right thing to do. But it is like, and it's like, of course you like show up here in the middle of the night to tell Dan in person, like go all around the city trying to find him. Like that's so Nate Archibald coded. But Nate, do you think Jenny wanted Dan to know that she needs $8,000?
Right.
Like,
no, probably not. But so Jenny's got even bigger fish to fry because right now she's in her room furiously trying to get out of this dress when Rufus walks in.
Okay.
And he's like, let me help.
How much she's sweating. Like
for
physically,
sure.
Do you know that feeling of like
this
when you're like overstimulated? You're in the fitting room. You can't get the dress over your boobs off your body, or like you have your arms up and mom is trying to work the dress off of your body.
Like, if you're doing it yourself, then you need mom's help, and then it's like you don't want to, but you also don't want her in there anyway.
And I'm like, do I look good from this angle? Even like, my arms are over my head. I'm completely naked down everywhere else, and I have a dress stuck on my whole body, and I'm covered in sweat. So I'm crying, and I'm angry.
And then Rufus says the unthinkable. He says, "Oh my God, I'm gonna need a pair of pliers."
Holy shit. And Jenny's like, no. This reminds me of embarrassing story, when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade and I like put this ring on my finger and it got stuck. And I don't know why it got stuck because I do have dainty. Maybe it was a doll ring. It had to have been a doll ring that I put on because otherwise I can't imagine this ever happening to me. But it did get stuck. And I was at school. My finger started turning purple. And I was like, I think something's wrong. And I started like panicking because like, I was a panicked little girl, very much the way I am today. And I go to my teacher. I'm like, something's wrong. And I like hold up my finger, my purple, gigantic finger. And so she sends me to the nurse and they like cannot get this ring off. They're trying everything. They are like really trying to get this ring off, cannot get it off. They call in the janitor. And they're like, we need him to try it. We need like a strong man with tools to try to get this ring off of this fucking chubby little girl.
How'd they get it off?
He can't get it off. So they call mom and they're like, honestly, like she's going to lose her finger. Like you got to come get her and take her to the hospital so that she can get this ring off of her finger. And so mom comes to the school to get me. I go home and mom's like, okay, I remember being in the playroom waiting to go to the hospital or whatever, the doctor. And mom comes in with her hands behind her back. And she's like, I just want to try one thing before we go. Okay? But you're going to freak out when you see what it is. And she pulls her hands out and she's got pliers in her hands. And she's like, I'm going to take it. And I was like, and she broke the ring in half and got it off my finger.
Good job, Mom.
But that was a scary moment.
Would be scary. Anyway, not quite as scary as this because the girls walk in. The girls walk in and they immediately recognize what dress she's in. And Jenny tries to say that she bought it.
She's like, no, what? And Rufus goes, are you calling my daughter a thief? And it's like, Rufus,
dude,
where and then
Blair immediately says, well, I will let you guys go. I have a table of butter if anybody would like to join.
You missed my favorite part.
Say it then.
She says, she comes in and she's like, this seems private. She comes in and gets her stuff. And then she's like, reservation at Better Under Waldorf in case there's an after party. And she walks out. But I'm sorry.
And
this
so
seems private. I'm just going to go. It's
yeah, it's so
so fucking funny. And all the girls grab their things and go.
And then Rufus, once they're alone, Rufus is like, where did you get this dress? He knows that she didn't make it because she sold. He noticed that she
sewing machine.
Wait, he said that she hasn't been sewing, and then she throws it all back in his face. They're poor, and she had to sell her sewing machine and all of this stuff, and they get into this fight, and Rufus is like, I'm not apologizing for not being able to give you a life with private jets. I'm just not. I'm sorry that your life feels hard right now, but I'm not apologizing for what I'm able to give you.
Right, exactly. And she's like, what do you not get? Like, do you want me to choose to have no friends? So then we go back to Serena, and at some point she traded Dan for Nate. Like, where did Dan go? Because now it's just Serena and Nate hanging out, and that's interesting.
Didn't even notice. Serena didn't even notice.
Literally. She's like, oh, where's Dan? Dan's like, I wanted to tell you my fucking story about my mom, but now Nate's here. Now good guy Nate here, so I'm leaving.
And so they... Go ahead.
She's trying to get Nate to forgive Blair, and he's like, yeah, we'll talk later. Good night. And he leaves. At which point Eric gets home, and he was at therapy, but before that, he was playing Wii tennis with Chuck, which is kind of cute, like cute and funny. And Eric is like, Serena, I really like Chuck. He doesn't treat me like a freak who just got out of the Ostroff Center. And Serena's like, who treats you like that? He's like,
everyone, his whole family.
Everybody. He's like, Chuck's not careful around me. He's not afraid that I'm going to break. And I've always wanted a brother. So I'm just like trying it out. But by the way, Chuck gave me this envelope for you, and he thought you'd want to open it out of the house. And he knows that you want Chuck to stay away from you. That's why I'm giving it to you. And like, honestly, I'm like, that's very thoughtful. Like, true, whatever this is probably going to be something Serena doesn't want her mother to see. And second of all, Chuck isn't going to give it to her because Serena has made it clear she doesn't want anything to fucking do with him.
Mm-hmm.
But she opens it. Oh my God.
And it's cocaine. It's a bag of cocaine.
She goes, how do you like a brother who uses you as a drug mule?
So we go back to the loft, and Dan gets home, and he sees all the party decorations, and he goes to talk to Jenny, who
turned 12,
exactly...
he says, which is, I'm sure, just what Rufus wanted to hear.
Exactly. And he is... Jenny won't share the full story of what happened, and then Dan is like, okay, family, we gotta stop fighting. Let's go get some freaking ice cream.
By the way, when Dan goes to check on Jenny, door open.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Interesting.
Telling me all that just happened, doors open. Jenny... Obviously, she's fucking furious because she finds out Dan's like, hey, by the way, why did you need to borrow $8,000?
Yeah.
She's like, he told you that? She's like, hey, girl, of course. And then they're like, let's go do ice cream. And he says to her, good older brother moment. He's like, listen, Jen, you've got so much more to offer than those girls. You just need to find a way to believe it.
Right. So back at the palace, Serena knocks on Chuck's door. And says, like, why would you send me this coke?
She says, oh, wait, I think we forgot to mention Chuck has been kicked out of the place.
Yeah, he has to live.
In this scene, he is. Sorry.
Yeah.
Serena goes up, she goes, what the hell is your problem? And he says, specify the context. Which is kind of hilarious. And she throws the bag of coke at him. And she's like, I can't believe you fucking got Eric involved. Like, no wonder you're friendless and girlfriendless. Even your father expects the worst from you. I'm like, holy shit. And he says, well, you saw to that. And she lays down the house rules. And Chuck's like, you actually don't have to do that because Bart kicked me out. I'm going back to my suite. You'll be thrilled to hear.
Mm-hmm. And so we go to the loft again. Rufus is telling Dan.
Butter, actually.
Sorry. And Blair, the other girls do come and they're having a grand old time.
Mm-hmm. So now we're at the loft, and Rufus is like, yeah, Jenny's not leaving the house. And Dan's like, come on. And he's like, no. He says, I took my eye off the ball, and I can't do that again. We can celebrate 15 with Jenny cake in the kitchen. And so Dan goes to get Jenny, and she took a tip from her buddy Vanessa Abrams.
Mm-hmm. She's out of there.
Escaped via the fire escape, I have to assume.
And we realize that she is at Nate's house, and she says, sorry for asking you for the money. But then she does ask for a favor.
She's like, I really don't want to be alone on my birthday.
So, like, I really don't like when we see Big J come out. I really don't like
I don't either at all. It makes me so... It's just, like, so dark, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
There's some... exactly. She's more sinister than Blair.
Yeah. It's just like... It's like... You had to go through a transformation to get to this point.
It's like Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Yeah, well, it's... She's a villain origin story. And Blair's kind of just always been that. So it's like, it just feels a little bit different. And it's like... Sometimes it's like the people who have, like, she has nothing to lose, so she's willing to do anything. Like, I mean, I know she does have stuff to lose, but like, it's not like Blair who like would ruin the Waldorf name. You know what I mean? It's like Jenny, the stakes are a lot higher for Jenny, I think, in this moment. And so it's like, that can be really scary.
Right. So back at the palace, Serena is giving the cold shoulder to, or Eric is giving her the cold shoulder.
Yeah, he's really
because
mad at Serena.
he's upset that Chuck had to move out. And then she gets another envelope and is shocked when she sees what's inside.
She opens it and she doesn't tell anybody what it is. She doesn't tell anyone what's wrong, but she excuses herself. Quickly, we're back at Butter.
Blair gets up.
Is this Isabel or no? It's Isabel, not Cotty, because Cotty left and went to Israel with her dad. So Blair and Isabel go to the bar. They're looking for hot guys. While they are not at the table, Jenny shows up with Nate. And I did at first, I forgot that she was going to introduce him to Penelope.
I thought she was showing
like,
up
him
like,
there for her.
Yeah, I agree.
And I was
that's
like,
what I thought. And then, but she
crazy.
she sits Nate down next to Penelope and is like, Nate, you know Penelope, right?
Yes.
And then they kind of and then Blair comes back and
Jenny
doesn't have a place
Blair's
to sit because Jenny,
seat.
Yeah, she's already sat down. And then Isabel sits next to Jenny and Blair is ousted once again.
And Penelope looks at Jenny and then she looks at Hazel and she goes, maybe your mom did give away that Valentino.
Oh, yeah.
And Hazel's like, yeah, she takes so much Ativan and it fucks up her memory. And Jenny just gives Blair a look and I'm like, wow.
Crazy.
Okay, our final scene, holy shit.
A knock on the door.
Electric.
At Chuck's suite, 1812. And
1812,
Serena,
I also wrote that down. It just felt significant.
I know. I'm like, what is the War of 1812 about?
I know. That's what I was wondering.
Something is it something like anything that's going on?
Up.
No. And then so Chuck opens the door and Serena apologizes. And
she's like, I know who sent everything.
And then she hands over the envelope. And it has a note inside that says,
do you want to do it?
S. Hope you liked your presents. Coming back to town. G.
Chuck
and then Chuck says, ooh, you better come in for a drink.
Why don't I make you a drink? And she goes in. And also just like, imagine watching this not knowing who Georgina is. And the way the next episode starts, by the way, when we meet Georgina, she's going by Sarah. So like, imagine watching it and not knowing that that's Georgina.
Crazy.
And meeting her that way. And then the big reveal, like, guys,
it's gonna be epic.
Just get excited because we get Georgina next week. We are going to find out if Serena has the skin of a killer next week. It's a very big episode. And Phoebe and I are recording it in person.
The episode name is Desperately Seeking Serena, and this is the synopsis. When former friend Georgina Sparks returns to town, Serena's world is turned upside down. Dan sees Serena's preoccupation, but wrongly assumes she is worried about Chuck becoming her new sister-in-law. Meanwhile, Nate unexpectedly connects with Vanessa, and Jenny develops a crush on a local dog walker who she decides is her ticket to long-term popularity.
That is also such a crazy storyline. The Asher. By the way, his name's Asher. Caroline Asher's online. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't listened to our Tuesday mini-sode, go check it out. If you want to watch this episode on Patreon with video and no ads, like I just said, it's on Patreon, Honorary Connell Sisters. We love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. There won't be a Tuesday episode next week, but there will be a Thursday episode and it'll be explosive. So we will see you there. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. We'll see you next week.
And splat.
Splat.